What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Nostalgia Talks. I'm your host, Natalie. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode. As always, it means a lot. Thank you so much. This week's episode is just a Q&A. I went on Instagram and I asked you guys to ask me some questions, or if you wanted advice on something, you could also ask me about that. I think that these are always super fun to do, and thankfully you guys always give me such great questions to answer, so it makes it a lot of fun for me. I hope it makes it a lot of fun for you. But I'm really excited because there's a lot of really awesome questions. So the first one that we're going to start off with is, what's a hobby you've always wanted to pick up but never did? I always wanted to pick up the guitar, and I will say it wasn't for the lack of trying, but also it was because I've tried to pick up the guitar a couple of times now. I think like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 times. I've gotten lessons at least twice in my life from 2 different people, and for some reason it just never stuck. And I've also tried learning on my own at least like 2 or 3 times, and I do well for a little bit, but then I just kind of forget to continue practicing, and I think that's my biggest issue. And I think that if I just continued to do it more and more, I think I'd eventually get good at it. But the thing that I think about is like, but what if, which I guess I shouldn't do this because I should just go full throttle on it, but I always think, well, what if I can't actually come up with my own chord progressions and all I can do is just do covers, which honestly, hey, at least I would be able to do something with the guitar. Like, that'd be cool. So I think that's definitely a hobby that I've always wanted to pick up but just kind of never did. I mean, when I do it, I'm pretty consistent with it for like a month or 2, and then I realize that I can actually like play it. I mean, I've never actually learned an entire song, but I make good progress. But then I just kind of stop. I either like don't have time, or I just decide not to make time, or I don't know. But that's definitely one. Next question. If you could only listen to one album for the rest of your life, which one would it be? That's actually really difficult. I have 3 options, and I don't even know which one I would pick. And I feel like maybe there would even be different options if I really think about it longer. But I didn't think about this for too long because I wanted to give you guys like actual, like kind of on the spot answers. So I listed Sunburn by Dominic Fike. I listed Mika's Laundry by Matt Champion, and Calico by Ryan Beatty. These 3 albums mean so much to me. Sunburn has such a good mix of like super upbeat songs that you can play in the car and just like blast it with your friends, and also those songs that are more meaningful and a bit more slow and you can play when you're not feeling so great, just by yourself in your room or something. Mika's Laundry has a lot of unique sounds that remind me a lot of Dijon and McGee, and Dijon actually worked on a good chunk of this album, if not the whole thing. I'm not entirely sure on that. You can fact check that if you'd like. But he did work on a good chunk of the album, and for that reason, I really like this album a lot, and I feel like I could listen to it at any point in my life. The only reason I didn't really put Dijon's most recent album on there, even though I love it so much, is just because I feel like I can't listen to it all the time. But this is like a good nod to Dijon, is Mika's Laundry. So I listed that there. And then the last one, Calico by Ryan Beatty. I've talked about this album before. It's just one of the most beautiful albums I've ever heard in my entire life. It's so good. It really moves you, and just, I mean, it's a lot more slower songs than upbeat, for sure, but it just really tugs at your heartstrings. So those 3 are for sure on the list. Next one. What is my go-to karaoke song? You know what's funny? I've actually never done karaoke. Like, you know how people go out with their friends or their family or whatever and they do karaoke nights? Like, they go somewhere and they what do they do? They rent out a room or something and they do karaoke. I have never done that, so I don't really have a go-to karaoke song. I don't even know what my go-to karaoke song would be, really. But right now, I feel like if I were to go and have the karaoke night, my karaoke song would be Risk by Gracie Abrams, because that's just one of those songs that is like super upbeat, gets everybody pumped. You could just scream that song at the top of your lungs and you would have so much fun, and so would everybody else in the room. So I feel like that one would be my go-to karaoke song. Somebody please invite me to go do karaoke, because I think that would be so much fun. Next one, dream guests to have on the podcast. I feel like I'm not really at the point, I'm definitely not at the point where I really think about that, where I really think realistically, like, oh, I could maybe have this person on, or oh, I would love to have this person on. I would love to get into contact with this person. Like, I'm just not at that point with the podcast. So my dream guest to have on the podcast, I guess, would kind of just be anyone and everyone that I know, or anyone and everyone that would want to be on the podcast. And I do genuinely mean that. Like, I would love to have literally anybody in my life, or anybody who's willing to be on the podcast, because I really love having conversations. And I think that, you know, doing the interview with my mom and having Patricio on a couple of times now, I think has made me realize that I really love to have conversations, more so than just like the one-on-one thing. Even though I do have a lot of fun doing this as well, I think it's really, really cool and really fun to have that back and forth interaction. And I think that it's maybe also more entertaining for you guys, I'm sure, because I know I love listening to podcasts where it's more than one person. So yeah, I mean, just anyone, honestly. Okay, next question. What is a song that you have recently found that has changed your life? I mean, I feel like within the past year, there's only been one, but within the past like 2 years, maybe there's been a couple. So for one that's been like more recent is Cylinders by Orange Space. That song, the second I heard it, I was like, wow, this is something new. Like, this is something, you can tell that it's influenced by a couple of artists that I like, but it's somehow just in its own category. And it's so beautiful and so moving, and I love the lyrics. I just really love it. So I feel like that one. And then for the other ones that are maybe like in the past year or two would be Miles by SZA, which is on the deluxe of Control. That one is just really relatable, in my opinion. It's just a song about time moving really fast, and just moving too fast for your comfortability, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so I really love that song. Also, Emails I Can't Send by Sabrina Carpenter, which is the title track of that album. When I heard it for the first time, I was like, whoa. And I heard it for the first time when she posted it on Instagram, when it wasn't even, I don't even think she had mentioned there being an album at all. She was just singing it. Like, it was just a video of her at the piano singing it. And I was like, whoa, I have never heard a song about this situation. And it was a situation that I could relate to. And it was just really special to me in that moment that I found it. And it's still special to me now. Like, I've done a cover of it on TikTok, and I have a cover of it on SoundCloud, and it's done very well. It's done better than the majority of my covers, so that also means a lot to me. And then the last one is a cover, actually. It's a song called A Little Bit of Everything by the Dawes, but Lizzie McAlpine did a cover of it last year for Spotify singles, and it's actually like one of the most beautiful songs, one of the most beautiful covers I've ever heard in my life. And the lyrics are a little unorthodox, maybe not like what you would maybe be used to hearing in a song, but it's so beautiful and so moving, and I think everybody should listen to it because it's so good. Next question is a little more deep. It is what brings you peace when you're struggling. I've definitely gone through a fair share of bad days when I'm like really, really struggling. Because there are times where I'm just really depressed, honestly, and it's very hard to pick myself up sometimes, I feel like. But I've found that having solo days is usually what brings me the most peace when I'm like extremely stressed or struggling with something. Like having solo days has done so much for me, and it brings me so much calmness and peace. Like I can go out just to the mall or to Barnes and Noble for like a couple of hours. I also really love going to LA by myself for solo days. I mean, I've only done it like 2 or 3 times, and I guess now I do it more often because of school, but it really does a lot for me mentally to just have those days where I don't really talk to people and I just focus on myself and what makes me happy, and just focusing on what I want to do for that day. It does a lot for me. And on those days I get to just be in the car by myself and just drive and be with my thoughts, or I can listen to music super, super loudly. But it's just all about me and being with myself and being at peace, because I only have to worry about myself on those days, and it's really nice and it helps me a lot. And over the course of this year too, something new that has helped me a lot, actually not new, because this person has helped me a lot throughout my entire life actually, and has been a huge part of like what makes me feel better on really crappy days, which is obviously Pat. Like I'd say, I mean, again, we've always been friends. We've been friends since we were 10 years old, but I think after our senior year of high school is when it really, like, our bond became a lot stronger, and he was always like one of the first people that I would go to for pretty much anything. And so he's helped me a lot with just calming down and just picking me up when I need it. So yeah, those are the things that help me a lot. And obviously music. I talked about music a little bit in that answer, but music also helps me a lot. Next question. Advice on being ghosted. This person actually already texted me, and I've already talked about this with them. But first of all, I just want to say that if any of you have ever been ghosted and have gone through that, I'm really sorry, because that really sucks. I've been ghosted before too, many times. It happens. It sucks, but it happens. And I think you just have to remind yourself, like, there are so many other people out there, and you just need to tell yourself that it's definitely not your loss. Like, it's not your loss. I'm here to tell you it's not your loss, because if it was somebody that you were meant to be with and it was somebody who you had a genuine connection with, they wouldn't have ghosted you. Like, you just have to realize that, like, life moves on and it's okay. You're gonna be okay. They're probably not gonna think twice about it, to be completely honest, and if they do, then it's their loss. It's not yours, and you just gotta focus on yourself. And I mean, if it really bothers you that much, if it's really like weighing on you, I mean, you can always text them or call them and ask for a conversation about it. Like, ask to have a conversation about the ghosting, if you think it will benefit you. But if you don't really think that you'll benefit from the conversation, then definitely just leave it as is and just try your best to move on. Because yeah, unfortunately it happens, and you gotta pick yourself up and just you gotta learn to be okay with it, and just again realize that there's someone out there for you. You just gotta be patient. Believe me, I was waiting 3 years, and look at me now. I'm super happy. And it could take less than 3 years, or it could take more than 3 years, but you just gotta have the patience. But yeah. Next one is, what's the most popular place you find yourself singing? For me, it's definitely the car. Also in the shower, but mostly in the car, because I feel very confident singing when I'm in the car, especially by myself, because I can sing as loud as I want, or not even sing that loud if I don't want to. But I feel the most confident to try new things in the car with my voice, like whether it's hitting a high note that I've never really tried to hit before, or super low notes, or doing crazy runs that I've never tried before. I feel the most comfortable and confident doing that in the car for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but that's the place for me, and it's so much fun. And yeah, but if it's not the car, it's definitely the shower for some reason. The vocals just always hit in they always hit in the shower. I don't know why. Okay, next one. Someone wanted advice on navigating female friendships and male friendships, like separately, not female/male friendships, if that makes sense. I have always, not always, more so throughout high school, I would have, well, sort of middle school as well. So middle school and high school, I would have a lot of trouble keeping the same group of friends just because, especially female friends, mostly female friends, just because I feel like a lot of people were very different from me. Like they had very different interests, which is totally fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't blame anybody for not, being super close friends with me for like a long period of time. That's okay. But it was really difficult for me. I just felt like nobody really had the same interests as me. Nobody really wanted to do the same things as me or really connected with me that well. And it was really, really hard. I'm not even gonna lie. There were a lot of times where I would cry to my parents about it. I actually have a whole episode about that. I think it's called Friendships Can Be Difficult or something like that. It's one of my favorite episodes that I've ever recorded. But yeah, it was very, very hard for me for a really long time. And I think the only real good advice that I can give you is that, which I feel like I mentioned this in almost everything that I give advice on, is just to be patient. You have to, if you feel compelled to be friends with somebody or to try to make a connection with somebody, do that. Do what you feel is right and try to pursue that to the best of your ability. And if it works out, amazing, perfect. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You move on, you learn from that, and you apply it to other friendships. I feel like that's the only way that you will learn what you want in a friendship and what you don't want in a friendship. So definitely do that. But again, just be patient. You will find the right people. I mentioned this earlier. Just be patient about finding a partner, but also be patient about finding friends. I was very patient in both of those departments, and look where it's gotten me. I have an amazing boyfriend who I love and who loves me so very much. And I also have a great group of friends and such a great support system within them as well. And I love them so much. And I feel so, so grateful to have such an awesome group of friends that I can, ask to hang out with and know that they're up for it and know that they will be up for anything that I want to do, and I will also be up for anything that they want to do. And we can always do stuff that kind of gives off a different vibe, but we're still all really enjoying it and having a good time with each other because of who we are as individuals and because of how we work as friends. And it's so awesome. And I think that you just gotta be patient and be open. Now, as for male friendships are a little more tricky. Guys are just, I used to be friends with a majority of guys, just because, again, I would have trouble connecting with girls. But I think I've realized that, as awful as it sounds, and as much as I hate to admit it, guys really do tend to stay friends with you because they're attracted to you in some way, or because they kind of like maybe are wanting something from you or expecting something from you. I don't know. But it's something of that sort usually. I've realized that guys will be friends with you until they find somebody else who will give them just a little bit more of what they want, which is unfortunate. But I guess it is what it is. But I think that there are some really great guys out there who are really great friends. I have very few guy friends, like actual close guy friends, if I'm being honest. I think there's like a handful of them, and they're great friends. But they're not people that I text randomly about my life or anything like that. They're not like people that I reach out to all the time. For the majority of my friend group, it's girls. But yeah, I don't know. I think that you can definitely have great male friends. I think just be selective and be careful. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't really have many male friends now, but some of them are great. The ones that I have are great and very respectful and awesome and funny. So yeah, proceed with caution, I guess. Next question. If you had a song that played every time you walked into a room, which one would you choose and why? Okay, if I could have a song be played every time I walk into a room, I don't know if this is like my all-time answer, but this is my answer right now. It would have to be Look at That Woman by Role Model. Just because it's about women. It's about a beautiful, amazing energy, powerful woman. And I really like that. And I really like the song. And sometimes I want to post a picture of me on my story with this song, but then I'm like, is that a little conceited? Is that a little narcissistic? Am I allowed to do that? So I'd never do it. But maybe I will. I don't know. But if you haven't seen the music video for that song, it's also very cute, and it's just a bunch of women going into a photo booth and being pretty and sexy and awesome and looking good. So yeah, I don't know, it would be that song. Next question. How would you describe love in one word? That's actually so difficult because love is a lot of things. Love is very complicated. It's hard to boil that down to one word, but I think I would describe love in one word by using the word enjoyable. And I know that sounds super simple and like not complicated at all. Not complicated at all. But the thing is, for me, love should be fun and loving and patient and interesting. And it should be all the best parts of life. And I feel like you can fit all of those words into the word enjoyable, if that makes sense. So that's how I would describe love. And I hope that's how you guys would describe love in your life. I really hope so. Next one. Do you have a dream tattoo idea? I don't know if I necessarily have a dream tattoo idea. I don't know if I do, but there is an idea for a tattoo that I want, that I have not told anybody. So now you guys know. But I do want a small Snoopy tattoo. But the thing is, I've seen so many Snoopy tattoos, but the thing is, I don't want one that everybody has or everybody can get, if that makes sense. So I actually want to ask Patricio if he can draw a Snoopy tattoo for me. That way I can get that tattooed. I just want a little tiny one, like on my ankle or something, or near my ankle. I kind of want it to have something to do with like my interests. Maybe like a Halloween themed Snoopy, or like a music themed Snoopy. I don't know. Or maybe like, do you think you could do a Spider-Man one? I feel like that would be so cool. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I kind of do want Patricio to draw Snoopy for me. I feel like that would be so cute and so cool and so unique and fun. So that would probably have to be my answer. Next question. Are there any hobbies you've been wanting to try? Which is also like the first question that I answered, but it's just a little bit different, and I kind of thought about more things. So one hobby that I really want to get into is mixed media, which I actually just posted something today, and today is Sunday. I'm recording this on Sunday night, so it's like a collage sort of thing that I did with a couple of pictures of me and Pat, and that was mixed media because I overlapped 2 photos like on the computer, and then I printed that out, and then once I did that, I wrote over it, and then I like added my own stuff to it afterwards, like physically. So that is sort of like mixed media, and that's something I want to get more into. I also want to get more into scrapbooking, just because I feel like scrapbooking is super fun, and it's a good way to spend your time if you don't want to be on electronics and stuff like that. So I want to do that. I want to find just more ways to be creative. That's my thing. Like, that's just what I want to do. I want to be more creative in any way that I possibly can. Another thing is vlogging. I want to vlog more for fun. I want to get more comfortable talking to a camera. I want to get more comfortable talking like to a camera in public. Like I just want to get more comfortable doing things that are uncomfortable. So that for sure. And also working out. I want to make working out a hobby. I don't know if that'll actually happen because I hate working out, but we'll see. We'll see. Next one. Do you focus on only the present, or do you find yourself thinking about the future more? I feel like it's kind of a combination of both for me. I feel like I am working on it. I feel like more recently, within the past year or two, there have been a lot more moments where I've been focusing more on the present and like what is going on in my life in that moment. But then at the same time, I've definitely had my moments where I've been thinking a lot about the future, but it's just because I'm getting older and like I need to think about those things. But I am trying really hard to stay present at the same time because I don't want to ruin all the good things that I have going on in my life at the moment. But obviously I need to think about my future, but it just stresses me out. So yeah, but it's a combo of both for sure. Next one is, what's the weirdest movie? I said that weird. What's the weirdest movie you have ever seen? Did it make you want to walk out of the theater? Okay, there are 2 movies that I've watched in theaters that were just a little odd. And those movies are Bones and All and Pearl. And as for the second part of the question, honestly, they kind of both made me want to walk out of the theater at some point. There's a scene in Pearl with a scarecrow that just made me think, what am I watching? What the heck am I doing here? And I kind of did want to walk out. And there was a couple, I think, that had walked out midway through the movie as well. So I was like, should I follow them? Should I do what they're doing? But I stuck it through. The same thing actually happened during Bones and All, I think, where somebody left. I don't even think they got to like halfway of the movie and then they left. But to be fair, like that's totally valid. Both movies are a little odd. But the thing is, as odd as Bones and All is as a concept just on its own, and as weird as the movie is, maybe, not weird, like, well, no, it's pretty weird. It's odd. But Bones and All is actually really, really, really good. It's such an interesting movie. The longer you go thinking about it, the more you just kind of want to watch it. I don't know. I haven't rewatched it. I don't know if I would or want to. No, I kind of do want to. Just to maybe dissect it a little bit. It's such a good movie. It just is really weird. Yeah, definitely those 2. Next one, what's a new habit you want to pick up and why? I'm answering this question because it's a little bit different than the hobbies, because hobbies and habits are definitely different. So a habit that I want to pick up is to not be so wasteful with my day, just because I feel like there are days where I just scroll through my phone endlessly throughout the majority of my day, and then I think about it later on and I'm like, that kind of sucked. Like I didn't do anything with my day, and I want to do that less and less and less. So definitely that. I also want to say yes to more things, which I think I have been doing. I think I've been doing a good job of doing that, but I want to do it even more. I want to say yes to a lot of more things and put myself in uncomfortable situations. And sometimes it's still a little tough to do that. Sometimes I still overthink and hold myself back from doing certain things that could be very beneficial for me, but I need to stop doing that, and I want to stop doing that. Lastly, I also want to start taking more risks, which actually ties into saying yes. I just want to take more risks. I want to put myself in uncomfortable situations. I want to do fun things that I maybe wouldn't normally do. I just want to take myself out of my comfort, or like my comfort box, my comfortability. I want to take myself out of that, if that even makes sense. Next question is, what's a trend you hate right now and one you like? There is a trend right now going around, and it's people saying like blank blindness. So like blush blindness, eyebrow blindness. People are literally going on TikTok and asking like, can you guys tell me what my blindness is? Like, it just sucks when people point out things about yourself that maybe you love and just trash on it. Like, that sucks. Like, if something makes you happy, let it make you happy, as long as it's, beneficial and it's reasonable and doesn't affect anybody in a negative way. Like, just be happy and let other people be happy. What does it matter to you if somebody wears extra blush? What does it matter to you if somebody bushes their eyebrows more than the normal person? Like, what does that matter to you? Honestly, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't affect you at all. So just let people be happy. You know what I mean? And then a trend that I love. I feel like there isn't really necessarily like a specific trend that I love right now, but I always love dance trends that go around. Like that trend that was going around with Charlie XCX's song Apple. I think it's starting to die down a little bit, but I love that. And then there's a trend going around right now, or I don't know if it's really a trend, or I mean, obviously you build your own For You page to like your interests, but I've been seeing it on my For You page a lot because I don't know, I just really love it. And it might just be because I love it and I keep reposting and liking these dances, but Camila Cabello has a song off of her most recent album that's called Dade County Dreaming, and the choreography to that song is so satisfying and so good. It's actually so good. And all day long on my For You page is just people dancing to that song, and I love it. I am not complaining one bit. But yeah, I just love dance trends. For some reason, I just love watching dancing videos. I am not that great of a dancer myself. Unless I have choreography, then I feel like I'm actually pretty good, but I'm just not much of a dancer, to be honest. Next question is there a recipe for a pastry or food you want to learn how to perfect? There is, actually, and it's gonna sound so stupid when I say it, but I really want to learn how to perfect my own homemade chocolate chip cookies. And that sounds stupid, and you're probably thinking, Natalie, chocolate chip cookies are so simple and probably so easy to make, and you know what, they should be, and you're right, that's so simple. Like, you can find chocolate chip cookies anywhere. But I have tried a couple of recipes already, and none of them really like satisfy me. I don't know, like, it's just not the perfect chocolate chip cookie to me. Honestly, Crumble Cookie, they have good chocolate chip cookies. I just love a thick chocolate chip cookie that's soft in the inside and crispy on the outside. And I have a really hard time finding like a balanced, good consistency with cookies sometimes. And so I just really want to learn how to perfect a homemade chocolate chip cookie. So hopefully I'll be able to do that this year or next year or just in the near future, please. Okay. This is the second to last question. What is a show you wish you could watch again for the first time? I don't even have to think about this one. Actually, no, I'll go with this one. Gilmore Girls. Because I rewatch that show every year, and it's definitely not losing its spark, but it obviously doesn't have the same spark or spark the same emotions that it did the very first time that I watched it. And no show gives me the amount of nostalgia and feelings that one does. Like, the feeling of comfort, I don't get that from any other show, at least not on the same level. So I wish I could watch that one for the first time. And the last one is very similar question. What is a movie you wish you could watch again for the first time? This one I definitely don't have to think about. It would be Little Women. I wish I could watch Little Women, the 2019, right? With Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet and Florence Pugh and all these amazing, big, huge names, which, by the way, I had a dream last night, so freaking random. I had a dream last night that I took an edible, and which I've never done in my entire life, by the way, which is why this dream is actually so freaking random. But I had a dream that I took an edible, and Meryl Streep was my grandmother, and we were eating Chinese food, and she was feeding me Chinese food and just having conversation with me. And I woke up and I was like, I actually think that's the most random dream I've ever had in my entire life. And I've had a lot of random dreams, but that one just, I think, takes the cake. But anyway, off topic. Yeah, it would have to be Little Women. I love that movie so much. It just gives me fall winter vibes that I love so much. Fall is my favorite season, And that, well, Gilmore Girls and Little Women are just a ball of autumn season, and I love it so much. And I don't have sisters, and that movie makes me feel like I have sisters when I watch it, which is a little embarrassing. And maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud, but what's done is done. And so it would have to be Little Women. But that concludes all of the questions, and that concludes this week's episode. I hope you guys had fun. I actually had a lot of fun answering these questions. I feel like the questions that I get just get more and more interesting and more fun the more that I do this. And I think the more that I do this, the more open I also become, which is really nice. And I mean, part of that is just because the more that I do it, the more that I talk and open up and become more comfortable talking to the microphone and knowing that, you know, people are going to listen to it. But part of that is also because of you guys, because you guys sometimes will message me and thank me for saying certain things or tell me that what I'm saying is relatable or actually helpful. And that means so much to me because, I mean, this podcast doesn't have a large audience. So to know that I at least can reach a couple of you on, you know, a more personal level, that means a lot to me, and it's just really cool. But yeah, thank you guys again for sending in such awesome questions. I loved answering all of them. It was so much fun and really got my brain going a little bit. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Don't forget to share this podcast with your guys' friends and your family. I would love to build up a larger audience. I think it would be awesome to just have more people within this little teeny tiny community. It'd be really awesome. And it just helps make everything so much more fun as well, because I feel like it just makes it a lot more interactive. And just having a bigger audience doesn't do anything for me. Like, if you guys think I make money from this, I don't. But I just love the idea of having a bigger audience because it just means that I get to reach more people and more people get to reach me as well. And I get to have more insight on different things and just have more things to talk about. And I feel like it just makes it a lot more fun and a lot more interactive. So don't forget to share with your friends and family. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have an awesome week, and I hope your August is going so great so far. I know it's barely the first week, but the first week can determine your entire month. And so I hope it's going really well. And if it's not going too well, you can always, send me a DM, send me a text, and I'll be there. And everything will look up. Everything always looks up. Everything always gets better. There's a quote that I love, and it says, regression to the mean. I love this quote so much because it means that life can never be just all good and life can never just be all bad. So if life is bad right now, just know that your time is going to come and it's going to be so much better in all due time. Just give it some time. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Love you guys. Sending so much love, sending so much hugs. Thank you so much. Bye.